as William unzips the bag, he checks his clothes, which seem a bit messed up, but she doesn't say anything as um, she continues watching him. How she was poking around in his clothes and even into his strange clothing called underwear. And he finds cables that he can use that happen to be extra supplies that would be thrown into this launch buoy device type bag, along with his regular civilian type clothing that he used to wear from his world of Earth. And so then he pushes on the top of the smooth black device, which is very long and somewhat rounded at top. And with a small bzzz, the screen pops up, and a camera mounted on top of the screen also extends upward. She seems very intrigued by all this that's going on, and then decides to learn about these things that he has. William, what is this thing that you have here? Well, this is the launch buoy device. As I said, that if one was lost at sea, say a ship got destroyed or something to that effect, then on my old training from my world, we would use this device to launch a short rocket type device. You'll see it when we get to where I've been using some extra free time to build my this other thing, which you've never seen in your world before. And once it's launched, it lands in the water, but floats, and it sends a type of signal, a certain sound, and a light that flashes repeatedly. And others then hear the sound and they look for the sound, and then they see the light flashing, and then they would find somebody like me or my world that was lost at sea because their ship either got sunk or destroyed and they survived whatever happened to the ship. Then they rescue me or that other person. So are you sending this or using this to ask for a rescue? No. This is merely to send the notes that I have been entering on this device, and he holds up the keypad, of my experiences here and how I met you. Oh, wow. So everybody's going to hear about how we met. Yeah. Then, again, Daenerys, I have a great idea. You might think it's kind of crazy. And he repositions himself so he's looking at her and she's still laying on the couch. Um, would you like to say, um, and he kind of thinks for a moment with a smile, and she kind of looks at him and somewhat of a smile too, with her eyebrows raised. Would you like to say hello to the people of my world? How do I do this? We're here and your world's far away. Well, this device, much like my keypad here, device, can record what you look like looking in a mirror, except that unlike a mirror that you look into, it will, upon a certain button I push, show you, even if it's only for a few moments, how you were sitting or how you moved, and even let you listen to yourself as you see yourself. So it'd be like a mirror with a um, intention of showing you what you were doing and saying. So, like, you get to see yourself what you did moments ago. This is very strange. But yes, I would like to see how this works, William. All right, I have a question for you. Yes, I noticed when I was at the all-men's gathering party, although I didn't say anything about it before, there is this gold pin, and he shows it to her. I don't know where it came from, though. William, you know how you kept saying that you would allow me to possess you. Yes? Well, the pin was not originally intended for that. It's kind of ancient, but I used it at. She asked him. Think about it, for how she's going to tell him, as much as he's trying to figure out how to tell her how this device works, because it's nothing of their world. I use this pin to symbolize that I have possessed you. Oh, well, okay. Well, I love being possessed by you. She said so. Oh, I know you do, William. And you are not like the men of my world. You have brought me much stirred feelings, William. And I'm so happy that I get to be the only one in my world, even if I am a queen, to have you. Well, I'm I'm glad that you've accepted me. And so she leans forward and kisses him for the longest time. I do love you, Daenerys. I hope you never get tired of me telling you this. No, and I do love you, William. Even if you are a human, and I'm stronger than you. So then it's like she quickly changed the subject. William gets things prepped, and he takes the um, little keypad recording device and puts it in the place of a panel that has an open spot for it. And the keypad then, with a quick zip, opens up and turns on the other part of the panel. She finds this all intriguing, and I guess you could say, much like a young teenage Targaryen girl finds all these little flashing lights intriguing. And then he lets her know, I may have to have, my keys just temporarily. I promise to give them back to you because I know you consider them to be treasure. She looks up at him, not saying anything, and then asks, is this something important that you have to have? Well, yes, without a certain key on this ring of keys, I can't make it work. It'll turn on, but it won't stay on. This key allows it, when I stick it into this larger part of this keyhole, and he points to it, will keep it from turning itself off until I am done doing the sending off of my farewell to my world. All right then. So she opens up her smaller box of various things she's kept from him that came with him in this world. Takes a little square wooden box out that was made for his keys, opens it and hands them to him as they jingle a bit. Thank you. And I promise I'll give them back to you. All right. So he then sticks the key into the large device, turns it on, more lights pop up, and she just, with a smile, is finding everything's very fascinating. You have strange things, William. They're so, yes, alien to your world. Um, all right. Yes, they are alien to my world. Well, that's okay, Daenerys. I come to accept that I'm also an alien to your world because I am human, and I'm not Targaryen of any of your 7 known kingdoms, but I'm happy now, and I will continue to obey any command you give me. I I know I probably will do or say strange things, but I will try to do my best to allow you to groom me so that I try to blend in, even if I'm a bit shorter. Yes, I know you will. So, how does this work? And so she's like, again, it's a young teenage girl finding everything fascinating and is touching buttons. And of course, yeah, he has to reset them. And not that he scolds her, because again, she being a queen, but she then decides to allow William to probably operate this because most likely it would only be that of a human that would know how this thing works. William also hands her his finger guard for when he learned swordsmanship. You did say you wanted this as a treasure because it's something I made. Yes. And she takes it and sticks it in her box, but seems more intrigued about this device. Thank you, William. So William then explains to her how it will work, that she merely has to talk to it. Talk to it. She kind of finds this funny. But wouldn't that be a form of sorcery? No, I promise. Like I said, I don't know how to do sorcery. I wouldn't even know where to begin. Unless somebody taught me to be a sorcerer, and I don't think I'd be interested anyway. Yes, I don't detect any treachery or deception here. Alright. So, she has this big smile. What do I say to your world? Well, um, I guess you could say hello. Uh, tell them who you are. You can tell them about your position, what you represent, your beliefs, maybe a little something about your world. And if you like, you can even tell them how you're taking good care of me. She has a big smile about this. Yes, I'm taking care of you well because you are my pet. Yeah, you can tell them that, but you might want to explain to them because they might have kind of a hard understanding as to how a human would be your pet. They don't practice such ways like you do here. Oh, I'll think of something. All right. So he turns a green switch on, and a screen opens up, and she puts her crown on, so it looks appropriate for her to send official greeting to his homeworld. And she looks, yeah, oh my God, is this me? Or is this some kind of a trick? No, this is you. So you can wave, and it sees you doing this. And so she does, she kind of moves her hand, right hand slowly in front of her, and sees her own hand moving in front of her, looking at the screen. Oh my gosh, you humans have weird things that I've never seen before, and this is how you live in your world. Well, Daenerys, you have no idea. Much like the pleasures you said I've yet to experience, even though I have experienced some very wonderful ones with you. Yes, you have. And you still have yet to have many experiences when I'm not busy doing queenly duties. Well, in my world, these devices are just one of millions of them. You have no idea the things that we do or use in my world because we're so much advanced. Oh, wow. She's just so impressed by this. Well, are you ready to say something? Um, all right, I'll give it a try. So he turns it on and he says, okay, it is recording, listening to you. It is. Yeah, you can go ahead and say something. Hello, people of Earth. You are the dark blue star in the Valyrian night sky of my world, though you are far, far away. Did you hear me? Yeah. And he plays it back and he hears her saying this. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that's me. Yes, well, that's your voice. Okay. So then he pushes continue. My name is Deanerys Stormborn of the House of Targaryen. I am a queen um, in a world I would imagine is much larger than yours. Um, the House of Targaryen is my family um, heritage or heraldry, as you might come to understand in your world. Um, as a queen, I live in a city we call Marine. The palace is shaped much like a pyramid. Um, from what I understand, you have pyramids in your world. Um, Essos is where Marine's at. It is like a very large kingdom, and Marine is where my palace is. Um, William here survived coming through some opening. Um, he calls it a, what did you call it again? A vortex. A vortex. I do not understand these strange words he speaks. Um, I'm still amazed that your world, being so much smaller, has so many kingdoms. But I am taking good care of him. And in fact, we just got married. I do love him, and I promise to take good care of him. You may find this kind of strange because I think of him as my pet. I guess you don't practice such things in your world, but in my world, being a pet does not mean he's a slave. Although he jokes around, I guess this is human humor, about being a love slave. We don't practice such things, but I do find him very, very funny and humorous. I send you all greetings, and perhaps one day, if you should find this that he's going to send you, maybe you'll get to come to my world and visit. There's many things you can see here. The desert probably will be a bit hotter than where you're at. From what he's told me, others of you are like William here. The gravity might be a little bit heavy on your chest. You might find it a little bit hard to breathe. William here has quite impressed me, has learned to control his breathing and has adapted quite well. We are much like you. Maybe our skin is not as pink in color as yours, but we do not have these strange things that he has, which I guess is allowing me to speak to you. We have horses. I also am known as the Mother of Dragons. And I do have dragons. I have been married once before, but perhaps if you ever make it here, someone, if I'm not here to tell you myself, can tell you by the history we have. We are not, for the most of us in the 7 known kingdoms, hostile. And from what William tells me, not everyone of your world are. I am truly sorry for the catastrophic event that has killed most of your world's people, and I hope that, though it may not mean much, that your world will find some kind of peace, and not war or kill each other. but do as I try to do for my kingdom and the people of these unknown kingdoms. Find a way to um, work together in a common um, way of getting along. And though we have had our wars, and unfortunately we may have another one, but the main thing is we try to work together, and peace would be preferred rather than war. William tells me that you have one moon. We have one, but um, it would look like two on certain days or nights because of where we're at. I guess you might be. Where's this place that Earth is from? Well, it's in a solar system that's called Sol, um, yellow star. So your star is smaller. Yeah, yours is a little bit more orange, so I imagine yours is a lot larger. And it's in a what we call a galaxy called Milky Way. I see. Well, and she looks back at the screen. Our star is going to be bigger. Probably, I would imagine, compared to your world, hotter. And this Milky Way must be your galaxy. But so far, I don't really see it. But the blue star is, well, he's pointed it out. And I guess it doesn't matter if it is the actual light reflecting from your world or not. But from what he tells me, your world is blue. Ours, I'm not sure what it looks like. We've never been off, left our world. Perhaps one day we will be as advanced as you. Not sure what else to tell you. I hope to have children with him. Did I say something wrong? Well, no. Actually, my world might find that kind of interesting that you and I would have children together. Oh, but it's okay, Daenerys. Perhaps somebody out there will find this very romantic, like the love of two dragons. You representing the stronger mother dragons, and me, the timid, low in stature, or as you would say, frail, submissive, and yet receptive male dragon. Yes, you have learned your symbolism well by him. Anyway, as I said, I do love him very much. I will take good care of him. He is my greatest treasure of all because, well, unless you find a way here, he is the first and only human that's ever come to our world. We've heard myths and legends about you from your world, but we never met one until now, at least recently. I do hope that one day, even if Liam and I should live a long life and we go to the spirit world together, I guess that's like your world's form of heaven, there will be others that follow in my stead as heirs to the throne, even if it's a generation or two, or however long it takes you to get here, and they can let you know about what Liam and I have had in good times. I'm sure no relationship is perfect, even in your world, but I believe in making things work, and we will have a good life together. So, from my world, as Deanerys Stormborn of the House of Targaryen, I send you warm greetings and wish you well. And so with that, she's done, and William turns the switch off. Something I discovered, Daenerys, on your world is that when your two moons come together, my chest isn't as heavy. Really? Well, I'm thinking, and I'm not very, as we would say in my world, scientific, but I'm thinking that when the two moons line up, because I had to walk the coals of fire in order for the symbolism to work properly for when you woke the heraldry that we call my sleeping dragon, um, symbolically speaking, dragon sphere. I had to have something that closely related to my world of Earth. Um, the dark blue star that shines in the Valyrian night sky. Yes, William, go ahead. Well, it would have to be, again, one moon, because then I think that's when the gravity is not so heavy. But it only lasts probably in what I would consider my Earth time of 2 hours. And that would allow this thing that I have built to leave your world to go to mine. I was wondering, is there any way we can find out if the two moons will be coming together soon? Yes, as a matter of fact, we can. So she takes him out to the balcony where they once stood together when he first came to her world, and she looks out and then back at him. Will this work? So he kind of steps forward, looks out, and sees that it's a nice night sky, and then he kind of steps back a bit, and she kind of turns. Something wrong? No. Um, I noticed the moons. If I look a little bit downward, they're coming up over the horizon there, and there's one over in the distance. Yes, they will come together. One that is closest to us goes to the right, and the other comes from the left. I see. Well, this would work then. So he, again, looking at the night sky one more time, then slowly goes into her chambers and picks up something extra. And she looks to her left, watching him. I have something else for you. You do? And she comes in from the balcony, and what do you have that you have gotten me, William? She has a smile about this because William's it's very intriguing to her how he's always given her these gifts. Well, as you might say, I like to spoil the one I am in love with. William, I do like this, how you and custom, how you spoil the women of your world, and the fact that I'm the one that you're going to be spending the rest of your life with. Yes, well, I would have given it to you during the reception, but, well, I thought this might look good with one of your dresses. Um, and he hands it to her, and she looks at it, and it's like um, two arm cuffs and with a matching bracelet. These, of course, would go on your upper arms, and this here, of course, would you wear around your wrist. Much like the one that I gave you at the reception. And because you being the mother of dragons, I figured that you should have appropriate gems, so I had it made to where it has your dragon's eye, symbolically. Because you said symbolism was everything. Yes. She has this big smile on him. William, I don't normally say this, and I probably wouldn't say it in the rest of the palace, but the things you do, though I find them strange and odd because you are a human, you greatly move me in a way I cannot explain. Okay. Um, so as she stands close to me, he gently puts his arms around her waist. You make me feel things, William, that no man has ever made me feel. Well, it's probably because I love you so much. And I love you, William. And she leans forward and again kisses him for the very last time. Thank you, William, for this gift. Anything you get me, I will cherish. Yes, and I do hope you believe that there's nothing I want of yours. I mean, I'm not like coming after you for your wealth or your fame or your position. Yes, I know this. If I would have sensed that, I wouldn't be with you now. And anything I have, I would give you freely. The only thing I want is the love of your heart, and you shall have it, William. As much as I know you have given me the love of yours. And so William then um, puts one of his gifts on, a type of shirt-like jacket. You look good in this, William. Oh, thank you. Um, I still like the clothes that you got me, but I guess one can never have too many clothes. No, I have many dresses. Just as many people know me by many names, I suppose. Um, well, we're going to probably need help, I think, to do what I need to do. No, that is fine. And so she then summons her trusted advisor, and he shows up. Yes, my queen. William here is going to need to do something, a custom um, human tradition. He wants to send farewells to his world because he's going to live the rest of his life here. Very well, then. So he summons another knight who she had knighted, and he shows up. Yes, may I help you, my queen? We're going to need your help. And doing a human custom, he's going to be sending farewells to his world because he obviously has accepted his place and his fate that he shall spend the rest of his days with me. Very well, my queen. So she gets ready, and they both grab the bag when William packs everything up, ready to go. Um, and making sure nobody's looking. They go outside the palace, and William walks beside her, and it's kind of a long, nice walk, and he walks hand in hand with her. And so when they finally get to this area where he has built something, she looks kind of shocked. It's the strangest thing ever. And it is very big. It's got some kind of like blankets over it. It's, I guess the best way to describe this, Daenerys, it's like a chariot. And she kind of looks towards him. But don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. She then has a smile return to her, and it's too small anyway. I would never fit. I would die from no air because my world's so far away and this being too small. I made a promise, and I'm not gonna lie to you or do any trickery or deception. I'm here for you to spend the rest of my days with you. That is good, William. All right, but I'm thinking, Daenerys, that for not just your safety, but the safety of others, I'm sure you would agree, people may not understand this strange thing that I do, or that I have built. People might easily think it is sorcery. And so I'm thinking that perhaps, if you agree, we might not want to say anything to anyone else about this. I agree. All right, when you're done doing what you need to do, those of us that are present right now, and as much as it is for the both of us. We will make agreement that this was never to be spoken of again. I agree with you. Good. So she lets William take the blankets off, and it's just enormous. And he shows her the graphics of how he built it, and it took quite some work. I see you've had a little too much time in your hand, William, for building such a strange thing. Although I can understand why you would do so. How long have you been doing this and known about this? Well, I didn't want to say anything at first because I wanted to have it finished before I made you aware of it. But it was not in my intent to hide this from you. I just didn't want other people to notice it. Because they might think of it as some type of sorcery and not understand what it is. You've done well, William. You are learning much about discretion. But once this thing goes off, we're going to need to tear what's left apart so that no sign or evidence remains of it ever taking place. Eventually, we might hear rumors about a bright light. Because it's like a chariot that carries my farewell message to my homeworld to say farewell. There'll be a great fire that comes out of the end, much like a dragon. And people may see the light, and they may speak of it. Not that I'm saying you should lie to the people, but it's, well, again, they might think it's some kind of sorcery, and so have to figure a way of how to get people to change the subject. I will handle this, William. You two, and the guards look at each other and then back at her, you two will take this apart early in the morning. Understood? Yes, my queen. We cannot have anyone discover whatever is left behind. Scrap wood or whatever must be destroyed or completely removed to never be found. I understand. Good. Will that work for then, William? Yes, it will. So he then pulls out of the bag, and the legs pop out, and he puts it into position with the help of the trusted advisor, because it's not exactly light. And it again opens the lid, and the screen and the camera part open up. He takes a key, sticks it in the golden ring, turns it, more lights pop on, and she's just finding this. Everything's so fascinating. This strange thing with this human who once was a legend and a myth, now walks among them, has a red cylinder pops up, and he grabs a hold of a handle and pulls it straight upward. This is so it protects the screen, because not that it's necessary, but at least gives in place. The silver part next to it was where normally the top of what I've built here would normally go. But because this is not where I'm on my world, it is the reason why I had to build this strange thing, this chariot, to send the thing at the very end of it out of your world to go to mine. I understand. And why does this look like a hand? It's because it identifies me as the one who knows how to operate it. I see. He puts his hand into it, and she sees that a light is scanning from top to bottom, back to top. And finally, two sub-screens pop up, and they have timers on it, and one on the base next to the hand opens, turns on. And Then he assures her, now, you're going to see some strange things, Daenerys, and I don't want you to be afraid. I wouldn't blame you if you would be, because these are not things of your world. And as much as you find these things fascinating, again, I am an alien in your world, and these things would be alien to you, because I am human. But these have a purpose to do what I need to do. I would respectfully, of course, ask that you possibly not touch anything, because it could cause you harm. It would not recognize you. And therefore my handprint is already programmed, that is memorized in this thing, and knows that I am the one who is the controller. Symbolically, I am the keeper of the keys, or at least the key, and it could do some catastrophic thing if you were to touch it. It's okay, William. I will not touch this thing. It won't harm you when it's turned off, but it's no guarantee what it might do if you were to touch it, because it would know you're not human, and like me, and well, it could have some, it could be kind of a bad situation, I'm not sure, because, well, we've had visitors from other worlds, but not that they would ever try to touch anything that, like, any type of strange things like this would be strange to you. I understand. So he gives her a gentle kiss on the lips, and she rubs his back gently with her hand. I shall watch then, and you complete what you need to do, and then we will put this away, never to be spoken of again. Agreed, my queen. You can call me Daenerys, William. Alright, Daenerys. So, he hooks up the cables, and as he's doing so, then he pushes a switch after to have the keys turned on, which starts the very first timer. Then the countdown starts at 10-minute countdown.
T-minus 10 minutes.
She watches him intently, very excited about all the strange things and all the twinkling colored lights and everything. And she hears him connecting cables to the key panel. He has like two of them at one end. Then he takes the other end of the cables and goes up to this large device, going up a short flight of steps, and then connects them. Alright, I got the cables connected. I still think, my queen, this is some kind of form of treachery or sorcery. Why were we not afforded this before? I do not detect this treachery.
T-minus 9 minutes.
He had a reason for not telling us right away. Perhaps we wouldn't have understood. But if he's to send farewell to his world because he cannot get back to his world, he has accepted his fate, and he knows that for the remainder of his days, for the rest of his life, he shall be here with me. And since he will never see his kind again, this is his way of probably accepting his fate by saying farewell to his kind, because they may or may not know how to find us, but if they do, there's no guarantee that I or he or any of us would live long enough for them to reach us. Because if his star is that far away, yet it shines brightly in the Valyrian night sky, I would imagine that it could be our children or our grandchildren that may meet
T-minus 8
in
minutes.
this faraway world. Well, I suppose you're right. I'm going to have this other knight here keep a post and lookout to make sure people don't come up on us surprisingly. At least this way we can try to keep the others from thinking that it would be sorcery. And then I guess as we agreed, this will be locked away. Yes, I plan to lock it into the palace vault. But I thank you for your concern. I do not sense any harm here. Very well then. So he has the other knight go out a ways to facing away to make sure nobody comes up upon him while Will's doing whatever it is he needs to do.
T-minus 7
William
minutes.
opens up a side panel and is checking things over. She looks intently at this clock and just cautiously, though like a young teenage girl, finding everything so very exciting. Nothing like this was ever in her world, because they do not have such devices. Strange things, alien to her world. And so, after a little while, William finally then comes back. Okay, I got all cables connected. I've got the fuel switched on. Fuel.
T-minus
Yes,
6 minutes.
like a liquid that can turn into fire. I would imagine your dragons must have a way of making fire. I mean, it must be based on some kind of liquid that they must drink. Well, we, or at least I, don't know where it is they get their fire. I've always thought that the fire comes within them, but perhaps they drink something, and when I command it, they have a way of igniting this liquid as they open their mouth and take out the enemy that I command them to do so. Well, if that be the case, Mary, the same liquid is going to be what launches this chariot. Like I said, kind of like a dragon.
T-minus 5 minutes.
She kind of shakes her head. I can't imagine such a thing. I know it's hard to comprehend. Like I said, my world has many strange things. And if it were possible, I would love for you to see my world. But the gravity would be a lot lighter. I'm not sure what effects my world would have. And the air would be thicker. And I don't know, whereas the air is thin to me and I have to learn to control my breathing. The thicker atmosphere would, well, it would be like trying to breathe water, and I don't know if that would have a bad effect on you or not. Perhaps if you had like a special suit or dress with a special helmet, it would help you to breathe. It would be the only way that you might be able to withstand my world's atmosphere. That is
T-minus 4 minutes.
unusual. I can't imagine wearing anything like that, but again, I don't know if we'll ever have the opportunity to go to your world. You're probably right. It's not like, well, you don't have things like what I built and what I have here that controls it. But I'm just thinking that if it were possible, that's probably what you would have to wear. I, of course, didn't have any type of special suit or dress. No, Al, I wouldn't wear a dress. I hope not. You would look very strange, William. Well, yeah, I don't think I would look very good in a dress. And my legs are too hairy anyway. You have the last one. Yes, and it would be very inappropriate for a man to be in a woman's dress. Yeah, I would agree.
T-minus 3 minutes.
They then pretty much have to wait for the rest of the countdown. Well, there's about, I would imagine, Let's see here. Give me just a moment. Gotta find the right timing at right about mark. That's the same meaning. Start my own timing to this one. So about 2.5 minutes, the timer will end, and then a yellow light will flash saying yellow alert activated. Basically what that means then is the first screen for 5 minutes will be initiated, thus turning on the tail end of this chariot. And
T-minus 2 minutes.
Another alarm, which will be very loud, will go off. It'll be yellow, and thus prepping for the initiating of the final 1 minute. When the 1 minute starts, it's a smaller one up top here on this upper half. Yeah, immediately the red light warning comes on, and then the 1 minute countdown begins. He hands her some earphones. These are called earphones. They protect your ears. It will be so loud that I'm afraid it could cause you to go deaf. If I built this right, I only have one shot to get this to go off. And it's not that I would ignore you, but I, of course, want to make sure I do this right. I understand.
T-minus 1 minute.
She then removes her crown.
T-minus 50 seconds.
Finds a place on this keyboard device to set it where it won't interfere with anything. And he gently puts it over your ears.
T-minus 40
You'll
seconds.
probably be able to hear me, but you won't. It'll keep out the sounds of the, what I call the motor. And
T-minus 30
look
seconds.
like a bright light when it goes off. The flames. And of course we'll have to stand back just to make sure that we don't catch
T-minus 20
fire.
seconds.
I understand it won't hurt you, but it would hurt me or the others. Yes, that is true. So can you hear me all right? Yes.
10,
And
9,
so she looks
8,
kind of interested.
7, 6,
Earphones,
5,
but she feels
4,
uncomfortable.
3,
And finally the
2,
timer goes off.
1, 0.
Yellow alert activated.
When the yellow alert went off, she was kind of shocked. This thing speaks. Yes, it's just another function of this strange device. Wow, William, you continue to amaze me with these strange things. But I assure you, nobody will be speaking of this. People would not definitely understand these things, but I find it's very fascinating about you, William. Well, I wasn't trying to make too much of a spectacle myself. It's okay. I'm learning much of you, William. Your kind and your world are a strange people. The things that you use to live and things you do. But I find this all fascinating. You must hurry now and continue doing what you need to do. Yes, Daenerys. He then enters a certain code on another separate area that's lit up, divided into black squares, and thus a light initiates for the 5-minute countdown, turning it on. And before he hits the switch, he then makes his final entry. This is William Bruce McEachran. I'm not in your world, and as you already heard her speak to you with greetings, I'm alive and well. Many people died at the catastrophic event when this other solar system had passed by. Though I tried to save as many I could, I and a few others got knocked out of the rescue boat. I got sucked in by some type of power and was knocked out. I don't know how long I had been out. It seemed like it was forever. a long deep sleep. The only thing I can mention or describe it was like some type of opening that it was near the Bermuda Triangle. I would highly recommend to anyone who finds this, do not attempt to go to the Bermuda Triangle because it may not be the same vortex that will take you where I'm at. It could take you someplace else or worse. The only thing I could think of is that if you look in history of Earth, when a famous female pilot, Amelia Earhart, had disappeared, her body or the plane was never found. She could have flew to a opening or a vortex somewhere else, not where I'm at, of course, or I would have told you about it. It would be similar to like a underwater Stargate, but without any controls. And the gravity effects of this other solar system as it passed by, and I can only imagine half our population has been killed off. And well, if there should be a chance that my world has found a way to coexist and not fight each other and form what humanity should have, the United Federation of Planets, I would tell you to continue to do so. One day, even if I'm not alive and you should not be able to find me, or even if you found where I'm at, I may not be here, but I am happy. I was worried because I'm the only one of my race here. The people here are very friendly, although they do have their grievances and what have you. They are not like the worlds that humanity's past has always thought of. Just because we were stuck on Earth, we always thought that if we saw a UFO, many people of other worlds would be highly advanced than us. And if it was possible, I could prove to you that that is not always the case. There could be worlds that are not as advanced as us. Well, that is where I'm at. I can only speculate, because I have no way of proving it, that I'm not in the Milky Way galaxy. Perhaps it's Andromeda or a nearby galaxy. But I would tell the people of my homeworld of Earth, this is a peaceful place. Yes, there may be wars, and it was not my intent to contaminate this world with certain technologies, but we have an agreement to lock it away in her palace vault so that others who may not understand will not try to bring harm to me or her for aiding me in this. I felt it necessary to send my final farewells to Earth, because here I shall remain with the love of my life, the queen of my heart, Deanerys Stormborn of the House of Targaryen. He looks at her and she's smiling. I will miss you all, and I just hope that you will find a way to be working out for peace. One day, there may be a famous captain who will have a first-time starship. Whether you actually find this, and it should reach Earth in time, is uncertain. But I'm sending it out anyway. So, my name at this point, for the record, though I'm sure you already have me marked as missing in action, is no longer William Bruce McEachran. She has adopted my heraldry so that, in turn, I don't pose a threat to her having this throne of swords, and I'm told it's not pointed, so it's not like the sword points are going to poke you in the butt. I still find it hard to believe because I've never seen this throne of swords, but apparently it's like here in this world of hers, there's many kingdoms that have kings, and then you have a supreme king or queen. And if I understood her correctly, she has a rightful claim to be the supreme queen for the realm of the kingdoms. Kind of similar like the Earth's having a president and you have governors. Best way I could describe it. I've learned to control my breathing and adapt to their world. I'll have to learn much of their etiquettes, their customs, and traditions to blend in. And I'll feel like I'm in high school again, learn histories and laws. Though she can't show me favoritism, I guess that's part of being royalty, that I have to even obey the laws that she sets, even if I am her husband, a human husband. She looks, other people, much like humans. She's a bit taller. She has unsullied warriors. They are darker skinned, but a foot taller than her. And then there's your general average people. Can range anywhere from 8 feet, maybe a little bit taller. But they're very friendly. At least Daenerys is. And as long as you don't lie to her, do trickery and deceptions, and try to speak boldly to her, which would be an offense. You never do that to a queen anyway, even in our world. But I do wish the people well. I am now known by marriage to her as William Bruce Targaryen. And so therefore, as for my last entry, although I'm not sure what the star date would be for Earth now, William Bruce McEachran, formerly known as Colonel of the United Federation's Army, I hereby resign my post and promote the two majors who helped the others that fell out of the boat with me, that they should be colonels, or as you see fit. They are good men, and they're quite reliable. And to the rest of the people of Earth, I pray that you will find peace. Nowhere should there ever be terrorism or acts of violence to each other. We can work together. Well, at least you can. I'm here. So now known as William Bruce Targaryen, as adopted by my heraldry of my Scottish heritage, the McEachran clan, who were second line to the throne of Scotland from days of old, and as permitted by Deanerys Stormborn of the House of Targaryen, sitting at the right hand following in her stead, I hereby declare this my final entry, and send you my farewells. Perhaps, even if I and Daenerys lives a full life, and we are not, I'm not sure about the spirit world, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. It's probably their form of Targaryen heaven, as much as we believe in heaven on earth. We may have children, or there may be grandchildren. Depends on how long it takes you to get this message and find exactly through much high-tech investigation of where this came from. And just know that if me and Daenerys were to be alive, although I doubt it, I'm not sure how long a Targaryen lives, but I hear they have longevity, I would hope that you would find this place a bit like paradise. And as long as you don't do the things that have been done in the past, you would have no harm. You may have to find clothing that is appropriate so you don't look odd because of strange clothing like I came to this world on, but if you do decide you wear uniforms, at least then they know you are also from the dark blue star that shines brightly in the Valyrian night sky, and that you are descendants of me, the first human who was a myth and legend in their world, and now them haven't seen me, I'm no longer that myth or legend. They will probably welcome you with open arms, and they may even want to trade with you ideas, knowledge. Treasures don't always have to be silver and gold, but it's what you learn and what you can take home with you. So I wish you all the best. Farewell to my homeworld of planet Earth. And so with that, then he signs off. William then looks up and checks the alignment of the moons, and they seem to be getting closer together. And the large moon, of course, it moves to the left, while the smaller one moves to the right. And so then he tells Daenerys, you see those two moons up there? When they I guess I would imagine one goes behind the other. That's where it'll be like the one moon, like my Earth. Yes, they do pass each other. We call it here in my world the light of passing. And it has been how we've always kept track of our history's time. It doesn't happen very often, but happens like after a period of what we would consider to be a month in our world. That's interesting. Um, a month in our world's like 30 days, but considering that the days here are longer, I would imagine your months are a lot longer. I'll probably have a way of explaining this to you because my gift of knowledge is not merely that of building you catapults and weapons to conquer the enemy, but that of what I call science. I would love to learn about this science you have. Well, I would imagine then you find this all very fascinating. Yes, we always called them the Wanderers, but they've always fascinated me. Well, then we have the rest of our lives to learn from each other. Yes, we do. He has a big smile about this, and he kisses her on the lips and hits a switch, which then sounds an alarm.